all the time.
Do you know how many times I've worked here? I've done more films in Salt Lake City than I have any
Really?
other single place. First off, nothing outside of 24 apparently gets shot in Los Angeles because it's too expensive, and New York's too big of a pain in the butt. But yeah, I think I've made 4 films here.
Well, we do have text messages from people who said they've met you before.
I'm sure they have.
In Salt Lake.
I think during the late 80s, early 90s, I probably, probably had a drink with most people in Salt Lake that actually would have had a drink.
Got a message here from somebody who worked at a hotel and said that you had a wake-up call, that you'd left a wake-up call, and they couldn't wake you up. So they came into the room, and you were just laying on top of the bed, totally naked when they walked in.
I can't imagine that. I've never been late for a day's work in my life. So this is the kind of stuff that
I
does get exaggerated.
I don't think you were late. I think they just came to the hotel staff came to wake you up.
See, when I was here, the films that I was doing, the first one I did was with Meg Ryan called Promised Land, and I lived in a house. I didn't live in a hotel. So this is the kind of stuff that
These
you
are the
kind
story,
of,
and that
this
person's been telling that story.
kind
you know
of
what
get
I did
exaggerated.
once,
Yeah.
But if I was unconscious and naked, how could I defend myself on that? Because I was unconscious and naked.
And who cares?
And it was my room.
What movies, now you're associated with 24, but talk about some movies that you're really proud of and what may come in the future with that.
Well, I had such an amazing run when I was younger. And again, a lot of things happened to me. The first film I did in the United States was a film called Stand By Me.
I was just going to say.
And you were so good in that.
Thank you.
I thought you were such a dick.
Yes.
That's how good you were.
It was, and unfortunately, that kind of shaped a lot of things that I would do for the rest of, for my career for a long time. And I wasn't smart enough and mature enough to realize I had to kind of
you got to pick the different roles
to split that up. One of my favorite films, again, was Promised Land that was shot here in Utah with Meg Ryan. And Michael Hoffman directed that. Flatliners, Lost Boys, Young Guns. That whole, literally, I think the first 6 films I did were all kind of big #1 films. And again, at 19, 20, 21, 22, you just start to go, oh, wow, this is my life. It's not that easy. It's not that hard. I can just, I'm a pretty good reader, and I'll find a story that's interesting, and whatever it is, it'll just be fantastic. And obviously there, I hit a speed bump that I didn't realize was the beginning of the Grand Canyon and the slow slide down, which actually in my case wasn't very slow at all. It was quite speedy. And then found myself really looking for work. And I went through a good 5 to 10 year period there where work was really hard to come by. And the only reason why I say 5 to 10 years, because I can tell the difference, was in the middle of that kind of 5-year lull, I got to do a film for Alex Proyas called Dark City, which Siskel and Ebert and Gene Siskel was alive at the time. They had a film school, and they had replaced Metropolis in their film school with this film, Dark City.
Really?
And it was one of my, kind of reminded me how much I loved acting, as opposed to chasing a film that was going to be successful or something that was going to be successful. And it was a very big shift for me.
Really played against type in that. I like that movie quite a bit.
It was just, I forgot how much fun it was to create a character.
Yeah.
And I kind of went back and watched a lot of my dad's films too, and had to really remember why I had become an actor in the first place. And it was literally about that. And so that was the beginning. And then the next 5 years was kind of crawling out of the hole.
Got a lot of texts here. People loved you in An Eye for an Eye.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Like
that was the hardest film for me to ever make, because I created, that character. That was kind of on the out, clawing my way out. And again, just the most evil character on the planet. And I had designed that character. My daughter at that time was maybe 10. And I tried to create this character that was a father's absolute nightmare. And it was very, very difficult to play that character.
That was a hard movie to watch.
It was a hard one to do. And I actually, a year after that film came out, was at a hockey tournament with a bunch of friends of mine, and we were playing in, I think we were in Arizona, and we were all hanging out at this pool, and a guy wanted to introduce me to his new girlfriend, and she wouldn't shake my hand. because I had played that character.
Wow.
And that's when, again, I always forget sometimes how powerful films or television or media can be, and people don't always separate
I was
what
going
you're
to say
doing
we all
from
need
who you are.
we all need to learn that mantra. It's just a show.
But that's how well done it was, because you do believe
Yeah,
it.
but
and
I
you
mean,
have
to-
that visceral reaction when you see
yeah.
you.
But I mean, to
and
not
then
shake
when
I
that,
hate you.
when that visceral reaction is over, please remember it's a
a
film or
show.
it's a show. Or,
Here's
yeah.
Shake his hand.
Here's an interesting. Somebody says saw you in Toronto doing the Glass Menagerie with your
Yes.
mother.
Wow.
What's your mother's name?
Shirley Douglas.
And said you were just absolutely amazing in it. And it was a
thank
great.
you very much.
Did you play Tom?
I
or-
played Tom.
Played
yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
Do you do? Will you do more stage work?
Yes,
and do you do much?
absolutely. I think the thing that I've wanted to do the most, and we were set up to do it twice, and it didn't happen. But Forrest Whitaker and I are going to do Of Mice and Men, and together. And I actually believe that was written that way, but in a time where you couldn't actually have an African American actor play Lenny. And if you go back and read the play and take a look at the use of the dialogue, I think you will find that that's true. It is absolutely a desire of mine. With regards to the Glass Menagerie, and whoever said that, thank you very, very much. So I had been asked to do this, and I decided to do it with my mom. And I hadn't really read the Glass Menagerie since I was maybe 14 or 15. And so I obviously I knew the play, but I didn't know it line for line. And I found myself, and you have to understand, I have a twin sister. And so I'm standing there on stage one day, and I'm talking about my my sister who is handicapped, and my mother who won't let me go. And I am trying to run away from this house, and behind me is a photograph of a father who wasn't there when I was growing up. And I found myself an audience, and in the back of my mind while I'm doing this monologue, how the did I end up here doing this kind of very odd version of my own family's history?
Yeah.
So it was an unbelievably personal experience.
Yeah, and it made it even that much deeper and richer. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what a good
Well,
acting role should do.
I had friends, I had friends that came up to see the play from New York and Los Angeles, and we did it at the Royal Alex, which is one of the most beautiful theaters in North America. And they used to always tell me later after the show was finished, and we'd go out for a drink or something, and they would say, oh, it was hysterical in the lobby during between the first and second act. You would hear all the people in the audience going, I think this is actually how they live. And they would be talking about it like, the scenes between my mother and I think this is how they are. And so, yeah, if anything that you can do to help an audience suspend its disbelief, which is a huge requirement for us as actors, which is the only requirement, that kind of stuff helps out. And it made it very special for me.
Any films coming up?
Well, I did the voice for Monsters vs. Aliens, which is out right now, and managed to travel the world promoting that. There is a reason why these animated films make more money than any other movie, is because they actually sell them.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing opportunity to do a voice that no one actually realizes it's mine. And so it was fun to create a character
I didn't
like
realize
that.
it until somebody pointed it out to me. He's
He's
the general.
Completely ripped off, George C. Scott and Yosemite Sam. You smashed the two of those two together.
There you go.
Bring on the fearless free pie, I hate rabbits. And just kind of went that route with it.
That's good.
Just had a lot of fun.
We got to take a break. How are we doing on time? Are we okay? You're hanging out?
I think so.
He doesn't have a watch. He was showing his wrist.
We'll talk more about the band Billy Boy on Poison. Do we have another cut we could play?
Yeah.
Let me look around.
Yeah.
Let me look around.
We'll play another cut from Kiefer Sutherland's. The band, his record label, is promoting, and we have request Todd to get them for the Big Ass Show if that's possible.
People are
if they're open for
May
May 29th in Salt Lake.
Oh, cool.
See if we can get them. We'll try that.
Dude, we're open for anything.
If only we knew someone from the record company. Anyway, 9:43.
Radio from Hell with Carrie and Bill and Gina and special guest Kiefer Sutherland.
X96.
There's always great entertainment going on at the Peppermill Concert Hall in Wendover, Nevada. Tickets are on sale now.